Adam Smith, digital marketing genius, sales funnel guru, online entrepreneur.
Makes sense. Question. Can you elaborate in a one-liner what we mean by stories? That is not a one-liner. Session 1 was all, session 2 was all stories. So there's 3 stories that this is why you guys have to watch this. Like, don't miss this. If you are not watching the whole thing within 24 hours, like, I know that's a lot. I know we're going over a lot, but like, I have a lot to cover. So the entire, like, we spent an hour and a half yesterday on stories, but in a nutshell, in my one-liner, what I'm going to do is stories are experiences that your client has had or one of their students have had that has shifted the way that they think in their paradigm shift related to the transformative idea, an inside fear and outside excuse. So the transformative idea is their experience. Hey guys, is their experience on how they found this. Inside fear is usually a case study. It's usually something that people have used to be like, hey, I was in this worst spot. I'm not like when I say like, so the case study is like an example of somebody who has done this before. This is what we're trying to alleviate is people's fear of not being able to do it themselves. That's the fear that we're trying to eliminate. And then an outside excuse is usually, like we said, related to time, money, resources, and support. So usually there's a story for each one of those. You don't have to do all of them. Typically, those are the biggest ones on there. Okay, that's what I mean by story. So they're not necessarily testimonials, but stories. Has that make sense? Oh, long one. All right, I don't think that got the whole thing on here, but I will read it. So I'm interested how the stories come out and how we put the story together. Okay, that was all session 2. This is all session 2. Okay, I'm gonna do a brief recap, super brief recap, because we're done in 20 minutes with session 3. So let's do a brief recap on this. Is this helpful? Do hashtag helpful if you guys are finding value in this. Okay, if you guys are finding value in this, do hashtag helpful. Let me know. So the story. Okay, when we talk about extracting stories, I think you guys should be able to see that. Okay, there's a framework for how we do the story. So for example, let's say I'm trying to extract a story about the transformative idea. My first initial question is going to be, hey, tell me how you found this transformative idea vehicle. Tell me how you found this. Walk me through the process. What you're going to do. And again, we went super, super deep in this move this over so you guys can see this. Oh, wrong way. Sorry, guys. Okay, so there's always a backstory and where they started. So this is our story framework down here. So look at this. So there's always a backstory. How they got into this. Why do we care about this person? Something like that. The example we used yesterday was in cars. So people always have a backstory. And so we have like Lightning McQueen, and he's going out and he's like trying to win the Piston Cup. And so we have these different desires. And there's 2 different types of desires. There's external and internal. And these external is, you don't need to necessarily see me. This is what we're focusing on right here. Okay. Okay. So external is, hey, what is the what is the outside what is the outside like not fear, but like what is the desire? What are they wanting to do? What are they wanting to get out of this? And so for Lightning McQueen, he's like, I want to win the Piston Cup. But really the internal is like he has this conflict. He just wants to be a nice guy. He doesn't know that, but that's really what he wants, right? And so he has these different desires, and then there's a wall. There's a wall that he hits, right? There's a wall, and he gets sent to Radiator Springs. So he hits this wall, and he's like, dude, what am I doing here? I'm trying to win the Piston Cup, and it's a setback. It's a setback from what they're trying to achieve, okay? And then they have an epiphany. And this is usually the transformative idea. What did you find that made this all better? You hit this wall and then you have this epiphany. Wow, he starts to become a nice guy. Again, he starts making friends. Very cool. And then after the epiphany, there is a plan. It's like a plan of action. Now that you have this epiphany, what are you going to do about it? What did you do about it? Plan of action. And then after the plan of action, you have a conflict. We call this the second wall. There's another setback that in your course of action, something else happened. What was that thing? Conflict. And then there's two parts to the end. There's the achievement, which is related to the external desire here. That's really small. Sorry, that says achievement and external. But what people actually care about is the transformation, which is always related to the internal. If you remember, people don't. Here's the thing, you guys. Sorry, I'm gonna get your question out of the way. I'll bring it back up in a sec. The people don't always have to have the achievement. They don't always have to have that. Like Lightning McQueen did not win the Piston Cup. Are we sad? No, because he got his transformation, which was the internal. So when you're going through with your client and you're going through the transformative idea, I do this every single time. I go through this process and I say, walk me through the story of how you found this thing. People don't know how to do this. People don't know how to tell a good story. And walk me through this process. You say, cool, what was the backstory? Sweet, what did you want? What was the external desire? Now, for somebody, maybe it's like a marketing thing, maybe like a make money niche, for instance. You have a backstory. Hey, I was really behind on my bills. I started looking at all these different things. I have this desire, and now I'm like, I really want to make money, but I wanted to do that because I wanted to be the man, internal. I wanted to feel like I was something to my spouse. I wanted to feel like I could provide. Whoa. Okay, that's internal. That's super deep. You hit a wall, you had this epiphany, you found copy consulting, for instance. You had a plan of action. I started putting the stuff together. I had a conflict. I started running. I was like, man, I'm like selling my consulting services, or I'm selling my copy services. I had conflict. They're really hard to sell. But now I added this consulting session and oh my gosh, now everything's better. Now I'm closing 70% of these ticket deals. And I have this transformation. I'm now the man. I've made enough money. And now my spouse feels like I'm somebody. That's the story. It's like, oh my gosh, wow, I want to do that. So we take everybody through the same story for transformative idea, inside fear, outside excuse. Now, outside excuse related to time, money, resources, and support is usually a little bit shorter. You don't have to do this huge elaborate story. This may be 30 seconds, 90 seconds, but it's still a story. You still follow this framework, even though it might be really quick. Okay. Interested in how the stories come out and how we put the story together. Does that help? That I just put the story together for you. I'm curious about the whole process that we go over with them, how we put the offer together for them. The rest of the question is, I'm confident I can do it if I have the framework. My fear is investing a ton of time into learning something and then having trouble filling the pipeline, or worse, having an empty pipeline. Session 6. Session 6. Do not miss it. Holy crap. Okay. This is the 6th person. Do not miss session 6. Okay. If you will be there tomorrow for session 6, put I will. Okay. Do not miss session 6. Okay. This is important, but you have to have a pipeline. If you don't have anyone to sell to, none of this matters. Right? Do not miss session 6. Okay. Love Zoom. Same question. Probably an outside excuse. Very helpful. I'm just starting in copywriting. Okay. Again, this is all you need. If you're just starting out, you just need a consulting session, extract the stories, plug it into our framework, make that happen. Okay.